Hello and welcome to Dream It, Dare It, Do It, Live the Life You Want. I'm Jasmine. I'm your host, and I'm so happy that season 7 has kicked off so well. I've gotten so many great guests, and as you know, this year I am introducing talking about programs and conferences and things that are happening out there to help you, you know, deepen your understanding of where life comes, like the experience of life is. And so today I'm very happy to have Shaul and Aaron, who are going to come and talk to us about the 3P UK, who's that's happening in, is it in June? It's happening in
Yeah,
June this
yeah.
year. So it's happening in June this year, guys. And you can go there, go to the UK and actually travel and, make it a thing, a party. And, or are you doing it online as well this year?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
guys can also listen to it online. So I want to thank you both for being here. I'm happy to have you. And I'm looking forward to hear what you guys are gonna say. The question that comes to mind is, how long has it been? Like I've known about it for the past 3, 4 years. So, but I'm kind of fairly new. But I think you guys started a little earlier.
Hmm.
Well, I'm going to leave that one to Eric because I don't know.
Well, I know
Go
because
on.
the reason I know it was the year I moved from Lacona to
Ah,
London. So it
yeah,
was
okay.
2010. So
Wow.
we've been doing this is our 15th year,
Wow. Wow.
but it's
Amazing.
also our 16th conference,
Ah, very
right?
good.
Because we started doing it when the first one we did was in Charles' old office space. So it was kind of we
Mhm.
had it was great. It was very intimate. And
We still had 120 people there. It was really,
I know it was very
we were just
crowded.
amazed. Yeah, we're amazed that
Yeah,
somebody turned up. We weren't
yeah,
expecting that.
yeah, and it grew steadily from there. So we moved to bigger and bigger premises until I don't know when we moved to that stadium, and we had it there for
Yeah,
several years.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And then COVID kind of came along
yeah,
and really kind of knocked it a little bit.
yeah,
Just kind of really recalibrated, and I think we recalibrated ourselves after COVID. You know, in
yeah,
terms of what we were looking for in the conference and what we kind of repurposed it,
yeah,
and kind of had a new insight as to kind of where we wanted to go with it after
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, because one of the things that happened is we had a couple years, maybe 2, 3 years, where it was just online, and that kind of led us to kind of really focus on where the energy and the richness in the conference come from, and also the power of having people in a room together, not just for the people in the room, but for those online too, to kind of pick up and be a part of that feeling. So that's kind of what's led us to kind of uh, to make sure we have an in-person, but also to allow people to join online so that everyone can kind of connect to that feeling we have we're together and focused quite firmly on the potential that understanding the principles kind of brings to us.
Mm.
And really, you know, I think we also, and although it's subtle and a little bit nuanced in our minds, but I think it's there. We a little bit changed, also sort of what we're trying to do with it, because prior to COVID, that's the easiest way for me to delineate. Um, it was more about kind of showcasing the principles and sort of everything that's going on in the principles world and all the impacts that it's having and just everybody who's involved. And I think what we kind of started to feel is we were more interested in really speaking to the depth and the purity of the principles and just making sure that the integrity of the principles and the feeling of the principles and really making sure that it was as pure and as clear and as clean as possible, and not necessarily look to kind of show everybody that's doing everything everywhere in the world, which is kind of what we had in mind before. And it got a little bit busy, we thought, and we wanted to keep it quieter and more focused and hopefully as a result go deeper.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I think as Shao said, maybe for your listeners, this will be interesting. it really was an evolution in our understanding. So we really, and when we first started, the idea was to really show people how credible and how much potential there were in these principles. And as time went by, we realized that one of the ways to get that across was to people to have a more powerful experience for themselves. Whereas originally, I think we wanted people to have a meaningful experience, but we really wanted them to, take an interest, which we still do. But I think, I don't know if you'd say this, Shaul, but I think we've really started to see that when people have an experience of something deeper within themselves, that does the job more purely and easily and meaningfully.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean that's really go on, Jasmine. Sorry.
I love that. Like what I'm hearing and what you're saying is that it's a living, breathing thing. Like, you first had an idea and then you saw what came up and then you got another idea and you saw what came up. And I love that for everything that we do actually, that and I was talking about this just on another episode, how sometimes we think something, we plan something, but what I love and what I'm hearing is that even though you plan something, the next step was revealed to you as to what you were going to do next, and then it transformed into something else that is now what it is today.
Yeah. In other words, to say that differently, Jasmine, it's like, I think sometimes we human beings think that we're looking to guide the universe in a particular direction, and we come to the realization that actually it's the universe is guiding us.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of a part of it. And if we kind of stop trying to make it all happen and just kind of listen to sort of where things are going, and just allow ourselves to be guided and taken, then it goes where it needs to go so much more easily and so much more beautifully and so much more effectively.
So what I know you guys have been, posting. I've seen a lot of your social media actually is really funny. I've loved what you've done this year with the social media. And I see you're having fun. You're playing, which is great. I love it. And you kind of like you're dripping the people that are coming. You're like, oh, we have these new people coming. We have this person coming now. So you're kind of teasing us. But so, can you tell us a little bit about, like, is there probably not a theme, but how is it going with your guests right now, the people that are coming, and why did you invite them, and would you like to talk about them a little bit?
You want to go with that one, Aaron?
Yeah, and chime in whenever you want, Shaul. So our inspiration. So every year after the conference, Shaul and I get together and we kind of start with a blank slate, because we want to be touched by a vision that kind of doesn't come from us. Like we kind of want to be led, and we've done that. We've kind of done that every year. And this year, what really made sense to us is we really want people to discover how much power and potential comes from looking further in the same direction. So one of the things that's confusing about the principles is, like, you can get it. I mean, we wouldn't be interested if we didn't get it. And it feels like, oh, I understand it. It did me some good. But that's a little bit tricky, because it feels like, oh, I got it now. And you can stop looking. And then when you hit a barrier, you start looking elsewhere. Well, I got the principles. What else do I need? And the tragedy of that is that the principles is the gift that keeps on giving. We only partially understand it. And it can be, I've been involved in this. I've been interested in it nearly 30 years, but involved in it professionally 24 years. And every time I look beyond what I understand, I'm shocked at the profundity and impact and benefits that come out of that. And we just, as much as we want people to understand the principles, it's really the power to keep understanding the principles that we're inspired by this year. And all of the people that we've chosen this year kind of point in that direction. So we've got a number of people that are who might be called first generation. So they've been involved so long, they have a really deep experience of how to look deeper. And actually, anyone that was around Sid became painfully aware how shallow they were seeing things and how easy it is to smoke your own dope. So those contributors we feel are really invaluable to kind of bring to life that direction. But also we're really inspired to bring together speakers who are, sometimes you're on fire. Like at the moment, I'm in a learning phase. So like I'm walking along the street and something hits me brand new. But I've been in plenty of phases in my life where I'm kind of on a bit of a plateau. So we're trying to bring together people that are kind of on fire at the moment, but projects that are really full of energy and, like you said, alive, and there's got that freshness and that learning and that kind of vibrancy of the principles. We're trying to bring together people and projects that have that feeling, so that we can all, the way I like to think of it is like freeload off that. We get to kind of slipstream off them. Yeah.
It has a feeling. I know it has a feeling. Like you can feel it, like when you're around people that are really in that flow, you feel it.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost palpable that you're like, okay, let me just, not that I don't like you, but let me just go look there for now,
Yeah, don't tell anyone, Jasmine. Let this be our little secret. But we do this conference for ourselves, really, because we just get so touched by it every year, moved by it every year, and just our understanding deepens through it every year. That we do it if that's all it was. I mean, obviously, there's more that we want than that. But if that's all we were to get out of it, I think both of us would still do it, because it's just there are moments for both of us each year in the conference, and it's amazing that 16 years later, it's still the same. Well, we just find ourselves so touched that we're in tears. That's how deep it gets, and that's how moving it gets, and that's how touching it gets. It's just amazing to see, and it's beautiful to be a part of. I just want to give you a quick example of what Aaron was talking about. So, my focus in my work is I have a program where I'm training rabbis, and the three principles are very much a part of the program. I want rabbis who are more spiritual and more compassionate and wiser. And in my mind, the only way to point to that, the only thing I know that point to that, is the principles. And my wife teaches that part of the program. And every year we have a listening seminar. It's like a 3-day listening seminar. And it was a few weeks ago. And my wife said to me, having this listening seminar for the rabbis, and you're coming, of course. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to come to this listening seminar again. I mean, we have it every year, and it's the same old thing, and you talk about the same things and the same ideas, and this deep listening stuff, and this, listen with nothing on your mind. I got it all. I can tell you everything. I can know the script. And she's like, no, it's your program, your rabbis, you have to come and join in. And it happens to me every year, and it's amazing that I haven't kind of figured this out yet. I just love it, and I hear so much more, and I get really deepened by the experience, and it's so rich for me, and it's so it's so helpful for me and so valuable for me. And I come at the end of it, and I say, oh, I'm so glad I did these 3 days. And then next year, I'm like, oh, do I have to do that listening seminar again?
That's the amazing beauty of it all. It's like we can do something over and over again and see it in a fresh new way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you're going deeper and you go deeper and you go deeper with the same thing, but just deeper. And there's always more levels of depth. And I think there's a tendency for us human beings to want to broaden what we do. We want more information, more ideas, something new, something fresh, something different. It's easier to see that in the breadth of the world than it is in the depth of the world. But we feel it's so much more valuable in the depth than in the breadth.
Yeah.
I had a rabbi who was my teacher many, many years ago. And whilst I haven't met many people in the world outside the principles who really have a sense of this, he certainly did. And he used to whenever he taught the same old things every single time he taught. And all the guys around me were like, oh, I don't want to listen to him. Yeah, he just says the same thing every time. And I remember once he said, somebody even said to him, he said, I heard that you guys say that I say the same thing every time. Is that true? And guys were like, oh, yeah, maybe. It wasn't me, but I heard somebody else say it, and he said, let me ask you a question. You guys got this figured out yet? These things that I talk about, you're really clear on it, and you're really touched by it, and it really means something to you, and you know it exactly. And the guys were like, oh, well, I'm not sure, He says, well, then you need to keep hearing it. You need to keep hearing it. And they didn't want to, because it's just human nature, I think. It's not easy to keep your eye on that same thing. We feel it must be boring. It's the same story. It's harder for us. But when we have the discipline to keep looking in the same direction, it's amazing how much more we find.
Yeah. And it's
Oh.
repetition, right? Sorry, go, Aaron.
Oh, no, you go. Well, I just wanted to add to what Shaul said, because I realized listening to him that I've had that experience too of, oh, I don't want to hear any more about that. I got that. If looking in the direction of the principles doesn't seem thrilling, then your own understanding is holding you back. That's what I realized listening to Shaul.
Nice.
So in a way, when you don't want to go, you got to get big ears. So when I did my internship at Pransky and Associates, and I went with big ears. And my understanding was I was allowed to do an internship, and after that I had to leave. So I was like, I got to get what I can while I can. So I just went there with massive ears. And the first thing I noticed, because I was like a student of everything, and I'd been obsessed with martial arts, so I'd learned to learn by watching. And the first thing that struck me was everyone there was primarily a student and only secondarily a teacher. And I was like, there must be something to that, because they were the best teachers in the world, some of the best teachers in the world. There weren't many. And I think that's kind of what we're talking about, is like what the principles kind of requires a humility to get out of the limits of whatever we understand. And so I just wanted to add that, because I heard it when
I love that, Aaron. I really love that. I think that's what, in my mind, the greatest kind of practitioners and teachers of this are the ones who are the greatest students. The more you are in a learning mode, the more you have to offer. It's very cool.
Yeah, I could see myself still being in that. Like I hear you, I hear what you're saying, and but what's really cool is that I'm starting to see, oh, I'm thinking I know this. I'm thinking I got this. I'm thinking I can teach this, or I'm thinking I'm covered.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that more and more, and there's a difference in me seeing it, because I used to see it before, but then what would kick in was, you're so bad, you're so bad, like the automatic kicked in, oh, that's so bad, you shouldn't do that. Now it's kind of like, like there's a things that
like
make
that.
you go, the song, things that make you go, oh. And so I like you guys were talking about, the conference was an evolution. I'm going through my own evolution as well.
Cool.
Which is, I think we have to just accept where we are, and then put the big ears on and keep listening.
Yeah. And one of the things that I love about the conference for that is that we bring together such a range of speakers speaking in the same direction that it's a really good place to listen fresh. Because like you go to a training and you're hearing one or two people, which is great, but the conference is a more unique experience where you get to hear over 3 days, so you're still immersing, but from lots of different So we often get emails, and we have friends and family who have been interested in this for a while, but it's the conference that struck them different. Like the combination of sitting for 3 days like a full retreat, but hearing from such a range of people, something catches you by surprise, So I often feel that it's a really unique event in the Three Principles calendar because of that, and also because it's such a rich experience at such a, like, we want people to be able to access that for a very reasonable price point,
Mm. Let's talk about that a little bit. What are the dates? What are the price points? Just to give the gist to people. Let's go into the practical side of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, just to say our principle first. Our principle is that this is not a profit-making conference at all. Our price point is purely a break-even price point. That's kind of what we're looking at. So we really want to make it as cheap as possible. At the same time, we have expenses. I'd love to make it half the price that we do, but it's there's realities of making it happen. So dates are, Aaron, is it the 22nd of June? I always get this wrong. 22nd to 24th? You know this
Yeah,
better.
the 22nd to the 24th. It's a Sunday through a Tuesday. So, and it is 22nd of June to the 24th of June. We've kind of adjusted the timing so it works for England, but also a bit other time zones, particularly America. So I think we're
East Coast.
starting around 11 a.m. UK time and going to 6 p.m., 7 p.m. So
Even 8 p.m. I think on one day. I think might be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're certainly trying to make it a bit more friendly for at least for the East Coast of the US.
Yeah, because 11 a.m. UK is 6 a.m.
6 a.m. Yeah, it's a bit early still, but once you get past, so get up a bit early, and then you can have the whole day at part of the conference.
You could go
get
to
an early
bed.
night.
And where is it? Where is there, like, do you have like housing? Is there like hotels in the area? You obviously don't supply that, but
Yeah, well, we have such a fantastic venue that we found last year. The venue used to be a big stadium. Actually, it's a big rugby stadium here in London, Allianz Park. I think it's called something different now, but it was it's the biggest rugby team in London. It's stadium, and it was just an amazing venue. But we found that, but it was out in the sort of suburbs. Now we are smack in the middle of central London in the West End on Baker Street. For any Sherlock Holmes fans of Sherlock Holmes fame, the Sherlock Holmes Museum is about 10 houses down, and it's just hotels. There's many places in the world with more hotels within a 30-second walk than the West End of London. So there's just loads of space, and we're right near to Regent's Park, which is just the space and the environment is fantastic.
Well, and also it's like 5 minutes walk from a central subway station, so you could get an Airbnb or a hotel,
that's right.
or if you have friends there. I mean, because Leela and I live right on the northern edge of London, and we could get there no problem. We just jump on the subway and we'd be there in 45 minutes to an hour.
nice.
And last year, they were the only complaint we got last year about the venue and the location was that there's no air conditioning. It's too hot. It's an old building, and it's really got a lot of character, the place that we're in. And you might think, for those listeners who kind of aren't used to England, like, well, you need air conditioning in London. I thought it just rains the whole time there, but it does actually. You do have some nice days, and we had some beautiful days for the conference last year. And in June, you can really have that. London can be a beautiful, beautiful city in June. But here's the thing: they've installed air conditioning, and not for us per se, but it's really cool. It's really cool.
I I thought you were going to say, Shao, that you now have this new promotional item with the 3P UK logo on it, and it's a little fan.
Very good. That would have been good.
No, we have a little piece of paper that we hand out to anyone that's too hot that says, "Hey, it's coming from your own thinking." If we gave them a fan, we'd just be enabling that obsession. We don't want to do that.
And how much does it cost to go to the conference?
The in-person is £250.
Okay.
And the virtual is 120. I think, Aaron, am I right? I'm pretty sure that's right.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you did.
I am 90% sure about that. 95% sure.
What is the website? Is it 3P UK?
Yeah, let's see. I think it's 3puk.org. Let's see.
Yeah, 3puk.org.
Ah, so there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Here we can see if I'm right. Tickets.
I'm going.
Oh no! Oh, the early bird's 120. I still think we might be in the early bird for the virtual.
For the online, yeah, for the virtual.
Yeah,
ticket,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're still in the. So there you go. I don't know when that ends, but get your tickets now if you want to do the virtual.
Yeah, so 3puk.org, everyone. Virtual tickets are priced at early bird. Oh, it's at 140 and the early bird is 120.
Yeah, that's right.
So
and the I would say firstly in terms of the in-person, the virtual we have as many as we want, but the in-person is limited. It's limited how many we have, and it will run out. So get your tickets early for the in-person, and I do feel Aaron and I sometimes have a little bit of we're pretty aligned on it, but I just feel a little bit more strongly about it than he does. That I feel like just there's something very special about being there in person and soaking up the atmosphere and being a part of it and connecting to others and meeting new friends and being able to kind of hobnob with the speakers themselves. There's something very special about that, so very unique about that. And the cool thing is, and this is the idea of the hybrid that Ellen was referring to earlier, that one kind of feeds off the other, because the feeling in the room is just so magical and so touching, but you get a sense of that virtually as well. You get a feel of that. You get a sense of that feeling. So the people in the room and the experience there creates the feeling, but the virtual people get to kind of sort of vicariously get a sense of that experience as well.
Yeah, we get a lot of feedback. We've had feedback on that people who have attended virtually really appreciated getting a feel for the feeling from the room, which was lovely to hear.
Yeah, people have said that when it was purely virtual, they had there was a deeper feeling of the experience than when people were in the room. That gave them a deeper feeling of the experience, even though for them it was virtual both times. They just got a feeling of the experience that was going on there.
Mm.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who like to be in the thick of things, because the energy is totally different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I get that.
Absolutely. In terms of the speakers as well, Ellen mentioned it earlier, but the first generation of speakers, I don't like to be morbid, but they are getting older. And sadly this year we have lost two of our most powerful and touching and I don't know, valued colleagues in Chip Chipman and what's her name?
Beverly?
Beverly, yeah. Beverly Wilson.
She was there
Wilson
last year,
Hayes.
wasn't she?
No,
we did a memorial to her last year. Chip spoke virtually last year, and she was there the year before Beverly.
That's what I remembered.
Yeah, I'm hoping, we want Jan's permission and involvement, but we'd love to do some sort of memorial for Chip at the conference this year because he gave so much to this conference, Chip. He gave so much of himself, and when they were up for it, when they were had the strength and the ability, they were first people that said they're coming, you know, Chip and Jan. So it was really very special to have them here, and really a sad loss for the community.
Yeah, my experience of the first generation people and I mean, forget that all the generation stuff. My experience of the 3P community is people are so loving and generous.
Yeah.
Like this is my experience. I mean, when
Yeah.
I started my podcast, you know, it was kind of like, oh, I'm afraid. Oh, should I send a message to Aaron? What is he gonna say? I mean, I've never had any issue. People are generous. They want to talk about this. They want to spread the word.
Yeah.
They want to. And so, yeah, I think that the 3P conference is a beautiful venue for anybody who wants to deepen this understanding and get a nice feeling.
Absolutely.
And if anyone listening to the podcast ends up coming to London, we love for people to come and introduce themselves and say hi, because we're all hanging around for 3 days.
Yeah.
And hey, I want to say something else just occurred to me. We absolutely do not want somebody not to come because they can't afford to come. You know, we have scholarships and we have funding available. If those ticket prices are really just beyond your means, but you really want to come, then we really want you there, and we'll figure something out. You know,
So
we will
reach out.
absolutely make sure that you can come. You want to come in person, you want to come virtually, we will. You'll be there if the only thing in your way is finances. So please take us seriously on that. We really genuinely mean it. This conference is a community service, and we want anybody who wants to be there to make sure that they're able to be there.
Fantastic.
If you want to come to London and you need a place to stay, you know, we can certainly try. We can't make a commitment to that. We can see if there's people have space, you know, that the people around, that people we've seen in the past, that people are willing to open their homes to people. So if that's an issue, speak to us about that as well. We'll see what we can do. You know, so please take us up on that offer.
Beautiful. Well, I think that, is there anything that you would like to finalize with, to say? I'm going to put the link and all the information in the description so people can click on links and get to you. But is there something that you would like to close the episode with?
Well, the only thing I wanted to say is I really appreciate you what you said about the socials, and I wanted to give credit to Lily Size for that, because she's been helping us with that this year. So I didn't want to get that praise without her getting some credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't got a clue about this stuff. We don't know our top from our tail when it comes to this social media. You know, I don't know where to begin. So, but she stepped in. She really stepped in, and you know, just of her own volition said to us, you know, can I help? Can I assist? Can I support you with this? And we were like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into here, because we're going to say yes to everything you want to do. You just do it. Tell us what you want to do. And we're yes, 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 yes. And she has really been so generous with her time and her energy. So yes, absolutely. For example, you know, this being on this podcast, you know, that
Yeah,
was
she reached out. Yeah, she
yeah,
reached out.
she reached out. Absolutely, absolutely. She's just been absolutely amazing. I'm glad you said that, Aaron. Well done for coming up with that one. That would have been an oversight if we had not mentioned that. And thank you to you, Jasmine. You know, thank you for taking the time and giving us the forum, and you know, allowing us to kind of share what our sense of what the conference about. It's really generous of you, and we're very grateful.
It's my pleasure. I love everything that's going on. You know, I've worked with the 3PGC in the past couple of years, and I know the efforts that we're all doing. And I'm like, okay, I just want to get this out there. I want to talk more about it. I want all the people around that are doing everything that they're doing to be able to, I want people to hear, because I'm here, I'm in the community, I'm constantly there. So I'm hearing, and then I talk to people and they're like, I didn't know.
Mhm.
And I'm like, so I'm really wanting to bring this
Yeah.
forward as much as possible. Like, once I get out of my head about I'm gonna do it, because I'm gonna teach the world. When I go into that thought, I'm doing nothing, you know. And then the thought occurred, it was like, wait, there's a ton of people doing it. I know how to talk to people. Let's do that, So
That's great.
yeah, everybody's got their place. There's room for everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, thank you very much for coming. I'm very happy that you came. I'm hoping everybody listening is gonna sign up, and I'll put the episode on social media, and we'll put it in the feeds, and we'll see what
Great.
happens. I'll tag you. Lily will take care of what what needs to be taken care of, and then maybe we can do a follow-up and see how it
Yeah.
went. And
That sounds good. That
you know?
sounds good.
Love to do that. That'd be a
Yeah,
great, that's
yeah.
a great idea. Yeah.
And Jasmine, I don't know what your plans are, but maybe you'll join us in London.
Maybe, but I have a dog I can't bring, and I'm single. I got all these stories about why I
Okay.
can't go.
Uh,
I think you just outed yourself there.
I just outed myself. I know I did.
So you
That's
say
right.
we will see you then.
Be continued. ...
Very good. That's great. That's great.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming, and I'm hoping everything will go fantastic for you. I know
Thank you.
everything's going to go fantastic for you.
Thank
And
you.
and so everybody that's listening, I'm going to say, dream it, dare it, do it, live the life that you want. And I shall see you in the next episode. You take care, everyone.
Nice to see you all, and see you in London, we hope.